everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing this mauve glam look. If you would like to see how I achieve this look and a little bit about me, please keep on watching and let's begin with the eyes. Okay, so for today's eyeshadow I am using my hudabeauty Mauve Obsessions palette. This palette is so good and I absolutely love all of the tones in it. These warm berry tones I just find unreal. Okay, so I'm just dipping into the shade on the top left of the palette using my Furless Cosmetics Me3 brush to just start packing this on the outer corner and then dragging it along the crease line or the fold area of my eye. So once I was happy with the blend of the first layer, I have gone in here now and added more to the outer edge. So don't bring this shade too high. We're basically using this shade to build up depth in the certain area. So I always like to have my outer corner and the fold area of my eye the darkest out of all the shades we will put on still. Okay, so now on a Zoeva 128 fluffy brush, I'm taking this nude or neutral or taupe shade, whatever you want to call it, and just beginning to use this to really blend the eye out on the upper half of the crease, making sure there is no harsh lines. This is where I realized my brows needed taming, so I used my Benefit brow set. Now just taking this beautiful deep red wine shade, it's just unreal, on a Sigma 125 brush. This brush is one of those brushes that is a must have. You can blend with it but also have such control. You can put shimmers on it. It's just amazing. So I'm just using this to really redden up the look and putting that basically everywhere, but not taking it too high, just slowly blend it out. And now I've just taken a clean fluffy brush to just perfect all the shades, and that's it for the blending portion. Okay, time to cut the crease out. So I'm taking my P. Louise base, of course, with this little brush that I got in an Urban Decay palette. So just any round brush that you're comfortable with. Okay, so there isn't really any amazing advice for this step that's really going to help you if you're a beginner. I've been doing it for a long time and I still mess up. So really, the best advice is take your time and be using the correct brush. If you're struggling with the brush you're using, try something different until you find the one that works for you. I find a really small circular brush does the trick for me. But other than that, just make sure you're looking at your eye from all angles, shutting it every now and again to make sure you have cut above the natural fold of your eye. Okay, now I'm taking what I believe is one of Makeup Geek's best shades in Pillow Talk with my Zoeva 233 brush, which is another flat synthetic brush, to just pat this on. This shade is the most metallic, beautiful silver, purpley pink. Oh, you can see this from a mile away when it's on. It's unreal. Okay, so now I'm taking this cranberry berry shade from the palette to place that on top of the edge of the shimmer shade from before, where it will have met the outer dark matte shades that we are going to put on. This is just so there's a perfect seamless ombre from the darkest to the middle shade to the lighter shade on the lid. You don't have to do this step, but I just find it's a really nice way to put that extra little edge on your look, but also it ensures that you can't mess up the blending between all of the shades. Now going back into this dark berry mauve shade with a Sigma E36 brush. You know this brush is another must-have that I say. Look at the control you can have with it. It still blends, but it just allows you to have such control on your eyeshadow. I always use this brush to deepen up the outer edge of a look once I have put the shimmers on. And as you can see right now, what I'm doing is taking off some of the harshness of that cut. I just find if you don't remove some of the harshness of the cut on the top, particularly if you used a bright color like I have to color in the lid, it can just look really funny from front on and look harsh and not blended. So yeah, try doing that and see if you prefer it that way, or if you don't, you can always not do that. Alright, now just mixing those two shades together on a Sigma E25 brush to just do the lower lash line. I'm always a little bit messy on the lower lash line if I haven't done my face first, which is rare that I would do it that way, because I always clean mine up with a beauty blender or anything you're comfortable with afterwards. Now just taking my Kat Von D dagger liner to do a thin line on the top lash line. I do this because I just find if you put that down, your false lashes just look more seamless, natural, if you could call them natural, but it just makes them less noticeable. Now I'm just taking my Kat Von D brow pomade in Magenta and putting this on the lower lash line. I don't know why, I just wanted to do pink, something a bit different, so I did it. Now just putting this white, or I wouldn't call it a straight white, it's sort of a dirty white shade, which I like though, on the inner corner to just brighten that up. I felt like there was enough shimmer on the lid and I didn't want to take away from that, so I've just used this matte shade to lighten up the inner corner. I'm putting my Lydia lashes in the style Lydia on, and now let's jump back into the rest of the face. Okay, so let's continue with the face now. So I'm going to start with foundation, and I'm taking my NARS Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. If you haven't tried this, go get a sample because it's changed my life. So I'm actually going to use a sponge to put it on. So I've already wet it. This is a Thin Lizzy sponge and it's just amazing. So I'm just going to put foundation on my hand and start to just dab it on my face where I want it. Right, and let's begin blending. And as you can see, I'm matching my neck, obviously. I am actually really white, so I've got to match my tan that I have on. I had such a crazy weekend. I had one of my longtime friends' wedding and I did her makeup, so that was a little bit stressful but also so fun. So I'm a little bit tired today, but that's okay. I am definitely an eyes and brow first type of gal. I don't know why, I don't like to do it after foundation. I just feel like I ruin the foundation touching my face with my hand as I'm trying to do my eyeshadow. So, okay, now onto concealer. I'm also using the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. As you can see, my concealer almost matches the colour of my foundation. I don't know why I prefer it this way, but I like to just lighten certain areas with powder. Just have to be careful around the eyes, but it's also a really good way to sort of, like I've said before, tame your eyeshadow a bit if you've brought it too low, so you can just use the foundation to bring that up a little bit higher and neaten it up. Okay, so I'm going to take my powder now for under the eyes. It's this Maybelline Fit Me powder in 120, just to lighten certain areas. And I actually use my sponge for this still. I am just on a sponge craze right now. I use it for everything. I just think it works so well. So I just literally wipe it in the product and then I'm going to dab it under the eyes. haven't tried using a beauty blender for everything on your base, I totally recommend giving it a go. I have held off on the beauty blender thing for so long, and then I watched a video of Jaclyn Hill's and she used it for everything, so I thought, you know, she always looks flawless, so I'll give it a go. And I have not looked back since. Now another tip, if you're really oily though and you really struggle to keep foundation on, go all over your face with the sponge in a translucent powder like Laura Mercier, RCMA, Cover FX, and just literally pat it on everywhere, and then also do a light layer of powder foundation to just add some colour back. So now I'm going to take this Smashbox Photo Filter Powder Foundation just for all over my face. I'm not going to do the translucent step today because I'm not worried about keeping my foundation on for a long time. But for the wedding I went to, I did that step of putting it everywhere, and a good 9 hours later into the night, the wedding was at 1, my face still looked good. I definitely was oily because I was dancing, but all my face was still on. I was absolutely so shocked. So I thought in this video as well I would tell you a little bit about myself. I know that for a long time I only posted eye looks, so no one even knew what I look like. But I've started to branch into these videos now and doing, you know, full faces, so I just thought I would tell you a little bit about myself. So I am 22, I turned 22 this year. I am from Australia. I live in a small little beach country town on the far south coast of Australia. I had moved to the city for 3.5 years after school to do a psychology degree that I am almost finished. But the city life was not really for me. It was a bit crazy. So I've come back home and I live with my mum, but I also came back home because I suffer chronic migraines, and not having any family in the city when I was so sick was really hard and at times scary. So I've come back home and I do not regret it at all. Living with my mum has been amazing, and we live on a really nice property with a river frontage, so yeah, I'm definitely feeling a lot more at peace now. And yeah, so that's why whenever you see my Snapchats and Instagrams, I'm often around water, and everyone always thinks I'm on holiday. No, I'm just that lucky that I live in such a beautiful spot. So now let's go on to contouring. I've said this before, I love this Furless Cosmetics brush in PPF3. It just does the perfect cut to me without being too harsh. I just love it. I'm going to use this brush and dip into a mixture, as I always seem to do, of my Australis contour powders. These powders are actually pretty good. I actually build up my contour or bronzer pretty slowly. It terrifies me that I'm going to overdo it and ruin my whole face, and I'm not all about starting again, so I take it nice and slow and just work that in. I like to bring mine up quite high, like up to around my temple. Actually, I find it lifts my face higher, so that's why I do that. But yeah, I just like to, and my hand movement when I'm putting this on is so gentle. Like, I'm hardly pressing on my face. I'm just buffing little circular motions, swiping motions into my foundation. I don't want to ruin the base at all. And that's why I also like to powder my face as well, even if my foundation was quite high coverage, because I find the blend of powdered contours or bronzer goes better when you have it powdered down already. What else about myself could I tell you? This year I became a qualified nail technician because I just love all things beauty and creative, and nails was another option that I thought was a good job I could do that was still creative. So I'm not amazing yet, but it's early days. And I absolutely love that as another option, you know, and it's such a nice way to meet people and make friends, so that's definitely something I have loved doing. Another thing, I have a lot of hair. It's well and truly onto my bum crack, let's be real. And it gets quite annoying, but I can't convince myself to cut it even on the days I am utterly annoyed. It's knotty every single day. There is just, even just walking around, even if I've brushed it, gone into town and I'm just walking around, it knots on my back because it just rubs back and forth, and then I get a bird's nest every day just from that. So it's quite annoying, but also so great. People often ask me to do hair tutorials, and the truth is I can't do anything with my hair. You've probably noticed I always just put it back like this. I've found, like, I try to follow braids and, you know, hair tutorials, but I have so much hair, it's just too hard. I need to almost practice on someone with shorter hair to get the hang of it, and then do it on my hair. But yeah, I really can't do it on myself. Alright, highlighter, yes. No, maybe I will put on a little bit of blush. I am not a blush girl, so you'll probably hardly ever see me do blush, to be honest. I'm gonna take my blush from the Sculpted Glow palette from Model's Own and just put a little bit on the apples of my cheeks. But I rarely put blush on, you know. I don't know why, I just don't like blush. Like, I like it on other people and I don't mind a little bit, but it's just not something, if I'm in a rush, there's no way in hell I'm reaching for blush. Like, that is the last thing on my mind, let's be real. Okay, so highlighter. I'm taking my Luxe Fan 129 brush from Zoeva, and I haven't used this for ages. I'm going to take my Jouer highlighter in Rose Quartz. Can I open it? It is probably the most buttery highlighter formula I've ever touched, and this is like glowing to the high heavens, truly. If you don't want to look like you've got metallic sheen on your face, this probably isn't for you. But it is just this most beautiful, wearable pink silvery tone. Yeah, that was just like 3 brushes. It is absolutely stunning. I like to bring it quite forward on my face so that it can be seen on the apples of my cheek when you're standing in front of me, not just on the side. Ooh. Sometimes I wrap it around here on top of my brow, temple, depending on how glowy I want to be. And today, clearly, we're going glowy. Okay, more about me. I keep getting sidetracked, sorry. So I have one brother who lives in Canberra. I don't see him a lot. He works really hard, which is great. He is into computers. So growing up, we were quite different. I was very sporty actually growing up. I had a sports scholarship for basketball, which I loved. I was doing a different sport every night of the week. I was that kid. Me and my mum are really close and we're quite similar. She is a sexual assault counsellor at the moment and worked in domestic violence for most of her career. I've just started putting this everywhere. Always like to put a little bit on my nose and right up in where your nose dips, right there. Always on the lip. I do find it easier to use your finger to do the Cupid's bow on the nose. You just have more control and I find it actually works better, so. Alright. Look, I'm starting to go overboard. Okay, what's next? Lips. I'm gonna take my, wait, am I? Yeah. I'm gonna take my Jeffree Star Cosmetics liquid lipstick in Androgny. This shade is absolutely stunning. Now I'm actually gonna leave the foundation all over my lips. I actually find, you know, I'm still testing the theory, don't get me wrong, but I actually find a lot of the time if I leave it on, my liquid lipstick lasts longer. If anyone else thinks that or agrees with me or doesn't, let me know. I'm curious to see, do you wipe it off or do you leave it on? Because I know a lot of the YouTubers I watch definitely wipe it off, but you know, whatever. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, I can't talk through this part. I'm just not those people who can talk while they apply lips. Like, who are you? Are you from Earth? is the look done. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you liked this wearable look. I know I do a lot of crazy stuff, so I just thought I would chuck in this wearable glam look in between the Halloween looks at the moment, just so you have some other options. And yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you on the next one. Bye. Welcome. No. With the hudy. Oh my god. Okay. Tape 50. Okay. Glow paddle. But